So first of all, thank you everybody for making the effort to be with us today. Of course, we're now very close to the start date, and a lot of people will obviously have questions, reassurances needed, just generally, conversation topics and contributions of things that just improve the team working together. So what we're going to go through today is some technical points in the agenda. So James here, who will be acting as competition, if you want, director. Well, he's a competition director now of all Hero ERA. And we'll talk about the Sportity app that some people will know. Sweeps, what expect from them, who they'll be, what to do. Medics, of course, as an important kind of topic. Then, of course, Chris Elkins will talk about mobile phones, eSIMs, Garmins, which, of course, are going to be a very deep and meaningful conversation, and spot trackers. Eleonora, of course, will clarify points in regards to visas, hospitality, dress codes, and other items. And of course, John Spiller from the Middle East will talk about his feedback on the recce, so driving conditions, timing, traffic, other points. I'm not sure if Melvin is going to be logging in or not in regards to transport. But I also believe that we will have Tizers from insurance perspective to clarify any insurance questions. And for everything else, throw at us any questions that you have, any doubts, any needs of clarification, whatever makes it better for you. Anything else? No? Okay. James Phillips.
Good afternoon. On the event, we use Sportity app, which a few of you have done our events before, you'll be aware of. We recommend you download it from your app provider, whether it's Apple or Android, and that becomes the official notice board. Start times, bulletins, regulations, results, query forms, everything is uploaded to Sportity. So we're going to send out a link shortly, which will have the passcode on it. You download the app, you enter the passcode, which is Badawï-26, and then all the information will be there. It's fairly self-explanatory, but there's a query form on there, the results, bulletins, everything is on there. You'll need to make sure that you've got notifications set. So if we send any information out on the event, that you get a notification from Sportity to say there's a new document or new results up there. That's pretty much on that one. It's once you open up, you'll see everything there. The other bit we're going to look at is the medics. One thing that the medics have said and asked us to put across, other than they'll be there looking after you, is if you've got a prescription that you need to bring with you, split it up between 2 bags. We've had it before where our competitors put all of their medicine in 1 bag. The bag's been lost, and the medics have had to scrabble around trying to find a prescription. So if you've got one with you, put it into 2 different bags, either your co-driver's bag or driver's bag, or just another bag in case you lose one. All right.
Sorry, I'm going to jump in here just out of feedback from previous events. Just to be clear, we all have some kind of condition. So personally, I enjoy kidney stones on a regular basis. Okay, but it's unfair for me to ask our medics to bring the kind of kidney stone mitigant tablets for my particular condition. So our medics will have a general purpose medication, which is legally there. If you have specific things, don't expect us to know what that is or to have the authorization to bring prescription drugs that are geared to you. I know it's an obvious thing, but as you're all taking notes, and a lot of you guys are using this as a shakedown, obviously, for P2P, just be mindful that it may be a detail, but it's easy to lose that detail. And if there are prescription drugs, I think it is recommended that you tell us what they are to Eleonora or to the team, in case it is illegal for you to travel with them without an exemption. And if that is the case, then through our fixers, we will find the medicine that is legally allowed for you to be taken in loco. For those who are in pharma, the same product will have a different name in different countries. So your hyperbufferin, it becomes illegal if it's whatever. What's a hyperbufferin brand? Your name?
No idea.
Yeah, so Nurofen, you can't buy Nurofen in, say, Saudi. This is an example, but you can buy the equivalent Nurofen, exactly the same, ibuprofen, 400 grams with a local name, and that you can sell. So there are some sensitivities, and it's just good not to be caught in the middle of it. It's generally pretty easy, but I'm just flagging it for thoroughness.
Yeah, so sorry to interject on there. You could write any notes like this when you fill in the medical questionnaire and you send it to our CMO, our Chief Medical Operations, so they can filter that and see if there may potentially be an issue.
Okay.
Sorry, Karen.
Okay. And the next one then is from the sweeps, which is they're there to keep you in the event, but they're not there to service your vehicle every day. You need to look after your own car, and you need to understand your own car and be prepared to work on it. And when you come in, if you do have an issue, is see the sweeps first so they can prioritize their workload. Again, they've had it before in previous events where people have gone to the bar and then wandered out 2 hours later and said, oh, by the way, my back axle's falling off. Don't do that, because they won't like it. And if they're unhappy, they'll let you know. So anything like that, go and see the sweep straight away. They can prioritize their workload and get you fixed and keep you in the event. But you need to be able to work on your own car as well and understand it.
Yeah, by working on your own car, we like people who know how to machine a header in the desert. That's usually kind of the requirement. Jokes aside, when James says you need to work on your car, it's obviously oil checks, filters. You should be able to change a tire. If your exhaust is falling off, obviously, sweeps will help you. But the DNA, the mindset that you have to be into here, remember, it's adventure mode. It's, can you fix it yourself first? If you can't, or if it's unsafe for you to do so, then put your hand up and ask for the sweeps, who will be delighted to help you. But I think part of the experience is to try to make yourself as self-sufficient as possible. It's these kind of things. Of course, if your car's starting to go on 2 cylinders, you might not have the right diagnostic to see if your your spark plug lines are affected or something like that. So we will be reasonable, but we want to push you for you to be as independent as you are capable of.
That's been done. Okay. All right. Done.
So can I pick up on a couple of technical points? Mobile phones work on 80% of the route. You may want to consider getting an eSIM, depending on whether or not your current provider provides coverage for those countries. Certainly, we're with Vodafone, and we didn't have a problem on the recce. I think they just charge you £5 a day for the coverage. An eSIM is like a virtual SIM. You can get them online. Very, very straightforward. Even I can do it. So
if you want a name of one that I've used and a number of participants have used, is AirAlo. So AIRALO.
it'll cost you something like $80 for a year.
Yeah, you can buy whatever packages, 30 days, 20 quid, or $20, unlimited usage. Anyway, it's pretty straightforward, but those are the eSIMs.
Okay, so Garmin, as you know, we sent out a communication a couple of months ago about the fact that Garmin have stopped making the 276. I'm hoping that you've all got one. And if you haven't, you've already let us know that you haven't got one. So we have a small number here, which we're planning to rent to people who have been unable to get one. If you're using an arrive and drive car, we've already got you on the list. And if you're not using an arrive and drive car and you still haven't got one and you've not let me know, you need to do so very, very quickly. So these car numbers, I'll just read out the list of car numbers who we know need a Garmin, and this includes the arrive and drive cars. So car 1, 3, 4, 6, 10, 18, 20, 21, and 34. So if I haven't read your number out and you haven't got a Garmin, please get in touch with us and let us know. Couple of things you need to do with your Garmin pre-event. Clear off any waypoints and tracks that are already on there, because you will be confused once we give you the memory card at the start. And make sure the device is fully charged, because if you come to us with a query at the start, obviously it's no good if the battery's flat. We won't be able to help you. And that's about it really for the Garmin. We do intend, I'm looking at James now because we spoke about this yesterday and I don't think we've done it. We do intend to put the Garmin training slides.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
From P2P. We did some Garmin training for the P2P event last year. We are intending to put those on Sportity by the end of the week.
By the end of the week, yeah.
Okay, can I suggest something? And this is really a question to Spiller, because I see that I can't see Danny Callahan. Danny, are you on the call? So her and Mazood, who are based in the US, either one or both don't have a Garmin. So let me check on that.
He's on my list.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay. So we will send out the presentation for the Garmin. John?
On the same subject, please make sure that you go through it and that the device is set up as recommended, because an awful lot of time is wasted setting it up for you.
Yeah. So if I can, again, for the benefit of the shakedown and everything else that you guys need to get comfortable with, by the way, this sounds way more complicated than what it is. Okay. So trust me, I hate tech, and if I could figure it out, so can you. But my strong recommendation as a user of these rallies, I can see Sandro laughing because he knows what we're talking about, is simple. Go through the presentation, see what you understand. It should be straightforward. If you don't, we also have a video. And if you want some extra help, it's better to flag it, and then we'll organize another Zoom call with John, with your device, so you can physically wait how to press these things. You just need to get into the mindset of how the structure of where the items are. But you need a few functions. It's by far easier than any iPhone, really. Sometimes these Garmins are a little bit temperamental, and therefore you might think that you're doing something wrong, but it's the Garmin. If so, let us know so we can bring some extra ones because they're difficult to source. But don't worry about it. Just play around with it. And if you have any issues, more than happy to do a breakout session personally with other people through John, just so that you have the best chance to fully familiarize it before the start of the rally.
Thomas?
Yes.
Yeah, can I just say, when we went to India, we weren't allowed to take them in. They were taking them out of our bag, so it wants to go in the hold bag.
Yeah. Can everybody mute their phone? Their just because there's a bit of
Is that your microphone?
Yeah. Okay, that's a very good point. Absolutely. So now different countries have different rules. In India, and here you get into the wonderful details of what we have to live as an organization. In India, specifically, tracking systems are regulated different than other countries. And therefore, it is illegal to have a sort of tracking system, a geolocation system. And so the Garmins ended up being non-compliant, and therefore some of them were taken at the border after the rally, but it's still worth it. So just in case, put it in your hold, and that's just better. So thank you for that clarification.
Can I just mention about the spot trace? So it is a mandatory device on this for this event. It enables us to find you if you get lost in the desert. And there are a number of cars that we haven't yet heard from to you either need to, if you already have the device, you need to make sure you have a live subscription. And if you don't have the device, you need to buy one from us. So car numbers there, 15, 19, 20, 24, 29, 33 and 35. If those people could contact us as soon as possible, that would be good. That's me, I think.
Okay. Is Melvin on the call? I think he's traveling. No, I can't see him. Okay, so there are a few participants who will not be using cars, and what you want to make sure, if you're not using the same transport company as the majority, you have to ask your agents or whoever your shipping partners are to make sure that the carnets allow you to go from, well, first of all, import the car into Saudi, and then Saudi, Oman, UAE. In the past, we've had individual shipping companies who have not got that paperwork correct, and those individuals have then had significant disruption to get through borders. So obviously with our partners, we know we have track record, but there are, I think, 3 or 4 cars who are doing their own shipping, which is fine. But can I urge you to make sure that they detail that what the requirements are compliant, because it has happened before. Who I can't remember who's not transporting the cars with cars, but make sure that the carnets allow you to export the cars from one country, import to the next, and so on and so forth.
I think it's Eleanor now.
Yep. Eleonora? We're unmuting you.
Not needed.
I think you're muted.
Now? Yep. Okay, hi. So yeah, just a few reminders about points which have already been communicated in the newsletter, but just to go through as a refresher. So the last newsletter had the links to visa applications. We, in most countries, like in the majority of cases, for the majority of nationalities, you can either apply for an e-visa or you'll be able even to apply on arrival. So more specifically for Saudi, almost all the nationalities will be having access to an e-visa application. And the newsletter has the detail of these exceptions that are exceptional, and specifically are Morocco, Brazil, and Argentina. So if you are Argentinian, Brazilian, or Moroccan, and you need to enter Saudi, please contact your embassy or go on the website. You can use the same link and apply in time. Everybody else can apply for the e-visa, and it's quite easy to obtain. Just make sure that you have ready, when you decide to apply, a passport photo of yourself, because you will need to upload it in your application. In UAE, most nationalities, again, can get the visa on arrival, and the same for Oman, where, in fact, most nationalities are visa-free for stays of 15 days. So you check the link anyway. I mean, we checked them for all the nationalities involved in the rally, but do your due diligence and check the links and get the visas that you require to enter the countries. Because the last thing we want is anyone getting stuck at the borders, where we know that we need to have patience anyway, in any case. The other important point that we wanted to mention is in the route book, at the beginning of each route book, we will have a minimum of lexicon for Arabic, because a little Arabic goes a long way when you will need some help or assistance from the locals, just to help you. And the same, we ask everyone to be respectful of every location that we go to, their religion and their culture. As John says, the myths are gone now. We don't need to wear veils or long sleeves or long trousers. However, we still need to respect the locals and where we are, and we need to be careful with any gestures and loud voices, which apparently are common for us, but not as common for them. The hotels list, the complete hotels list, will be released as usual a couple of weeks before the event. We have communicated the start and the finish. If you have any specific requirements, like some of you have already got in contact, if they have friends visiting mid-rally or anywhere else, or if you need to arrive earlier and you want assistance with additional reservations, just get in contact. Every night we will post on Sportity, which, as Jane was saying, will be our official notice board. Any information related to hospitality, whether it's the time of dinner, the location of dinner, breakfast, anything related to your hotel stay will be published each evening or each afternoon on Sportity. So consider that your go-to point, although we are aiming in each hotel to facilitate the check-in. So we will advance all the information of all the guests to each hotel with the aim that when you arrive, you'll just collect a key from our hospitality team rather than having to go to reception. Now, to this avail, and especially for Saudi, we will need a copy of your visa. So once you got it, please send it to us so we can have all the information on file already to facilitate any procedures as much as we can. Now, food on the event, we will try to vary the diet for everyone's needs and pleasure. We will provide dinner almost every evening, only excluding a couple of evenings during the event, especially those where we have a rest day and where a non-transit day where you may prefer to go out for dinner or do something different. We will not provide lunch on a regular basis. Lunches on these long endurance events are an exception, but there will be opportunities to buy some snacks during the days, most of the time, where the reason we will provide you a packed lunch in the morning. But as a good advice, we always recommend stock up before the rally, have some durable snacks in your car at all times, and any space that you can dedicate as a priority will need to be dedicated to water. So make sure that you always have water. Don't plan for that day, plan for multiple days, because you never know what's going to happen on the road or for yourself, or you may need to help somebody else. So make sure that you always have water. There are some other tips in the newsletter, but it's worth repeating, especially if you're in an open car. But in any case, because again, you don't know what's going to happen during the day, have sun protection, and I mean not just sun cream, but sunglasses, hats, and weather like clothes for all weather. The dress code is smart casual, as you know, well, super casual during the day, smart casual in the evening. Just be comfortable, wear outdoors type of clothes that can be washed and dry quickly. So rather than having to rely on the hotel's laundry, never rely on the hotel laundry, especially unless you're there for more than one night, because you may not get your stuff back in time. And well, what else? If you have any questions, just let us know. If you're unsure, pack light, because after 20 days, logging your suitcase in and out of your car can get tiring, and we're not going to help you. So if you need any specific advice, just get in touch, and otherwise we look forward to seeing you there.
Look, by experience, just to share, and we have a number of people, Xavier de Sarro has been on it, Alfonso Orleans has been on it. I mean, anyway, the temperature can get quite invasive, to be perfectly honest. And when we last ran it, it was November, so a little bit different. But expect pretty hot days. The days are dry, and the heat is deceiving. And so you might not feel the heat, but you're actually evaporating. And it's very easy to get dehydrated. Dehydration you feel after you're dehydrated. So there's a delay of about 24 hours, and it takes about 2 days of rehydration to get back to the energy form that you had before being dehydrated. So If I can add, you
The
know, put in
electrolytes, yeah.
some water supplements, minerals, magnesium, zinc, other things just to keep your water out. Your checks on this, and we're going to be friends, so we are allowed a little bit of intimacy. Check your urine. Your urine should be pale yellow. If it's anything darker than that, you're dehydrating. You're beginning to dehydrate yourself. Yeah, generally speaking, in terms of the languages, look, saying thank you and please is the biggest bit of diplomacy you'll ever going to need to do. It's a pity that we take that for granted in our world. It's good that other areas of the world still insist on please and thank you. We had very friendly people, as long as you show that you're appreciating being in their country, just like we appreciate it when people say thank you for being in our countries. There's no difference. So the rule of thumb is give to other people what you expect other people to give you. But the water one is it. There is also, if for whatever reason you've broken down or whatever and you're late, it will get dark roughly around about 6:30. There's very little kind of timeline differential from when we were there. And it does get fresh. So the chill factor, if you're an open top car and you're driving at night, don't take for granted that just because we're going into the Middle East that it's hot all the time. And don't take for granted that it's unlikely to rain, because Ben and I, when we were there in 2023 in an open top car, we got an almighty downpour in Oman. I mean, that was proper stuff, Scottish weather, put it that way. And in the evenings up in Oman, in the mountains, it was cold. So make sure you got enough coverings to be comfortable in hot weather, and comfortable, obviously, if it gets a bit colder. Yeah?
Yeah, sounds good.
Mr. Spiller. Professor Spiller.
Now the fun starts.
Yeah. I think you're on mute yourself, John. Are we muting it, or is he?
No.
I think if he holds down space, you can unmute.
Oh, ask to unmute. Yeah. John, can you hear us? Yes, but you've got to unmute yourself. There you go.
How's that?
Sounds good.
The mysteries. Right. Well, good evening, everybody. I've got quite a few things to say. Some of them relate to pre-event, some of them relate to later in the event, so don't worry too much about those, because I will remind you about them. There are quite a few unusual situations on the event, so I will do an evening verbal briefing, sort of mid-dinner time in the restaurant every night, but the same information will go out as an information document on Sportity. So if you're not feeling hungry, you can still pick it up. I've got a lot of points to make here, and not necessarily in the most logical order. First of all, the event, 18 days driving, 9,200 kilometers. So do the maths. We have a lot of long days. And as a consequence, I normally like to start each day at a regular time so people don't get caught out. But the start times in the mornings do vary. So you need to check every single day what the start time is for the following day. Driving conditions. Unfortunately, it's a little bit wild in Riyadh, in Jeddah. So your first taste of local driving might not be the best. But once we get out of Jeddah, the traffic is very calm and reasonably well behaved. The only time we hit heavy traffic is going into Riyadh, which is a bit trying on your patience, but just be patient. You'll get there eventually. And on the final day into Dubai, the traffic gets worse every day. So apart from that, Muscat's a little bit heavy, but nothing of too much concern. The rest of the event is almost traffic free. Money. ATMs are available virtually everywhere. I recommend that you carry the equivalent of 2 days of fuel in cash. Very simple. Go to the ATM, get enough money to cover 2 days of fuel, and you'll probably find that you'll have change left at the end of when you leave the country. You don't have to start ordering great tranches of foreign currency. I came across this petrol station on my first day of the first recce. They didn't take plastic, no cards. It's cash only. This only applies to a few of them, but they are there, so you have to be ready to pay cash. On the subject of fuel, 95 is available virtually everywhere, but occasionally places only have 91, so just be aware of that. And on a related subject, lubricants, if anybody needs special oils, particularly mineral oils, please let Ellie know, let Bista know that you need some, and I can probably purchase it in Dubai and bring it up to the rally with me.
John?
Yep.
Yeah. So I just want to clarify, just again, from experience. Now, most of the world now throws quite a bit of ethanol into fuel, irrespective of what the octane is, because you have octane, at the pump and octane in the fuel. We had it on Badawï. We've had it on other events. Sometimes the fuel itself, even though it shows 95, 91, it's cut at lower. So you have a slightly different detonation. In India, we all kind of suffered with some fuel starvation because of the heat. There's evaporation in the fuel lines if the fuel lines are very long. So if you think your car will benefit from fuel boosters, and these you can't travel with, obviously, it would be good to know so that John and the wider team can look at finding them in Jeddah, and then obviously give them to you at the start. So think of these things, because then what's annoying is that when you get into say more trafficy area and you're in standstill traffic, your car just conks out because the fuel evaporates before it gets to the plugs, and then you've got to wait for the whole car to cool down. I'm looking at wonderful smiles for those who have that issue in India. So just be mindful of that. You'll know your car better than others. Not everybody needs it. If you think you'll need it, flag it, because prior preparation prevents poor performance.
Very good. One other thing at fuel stations, don't always expect facilities, if you understand what I mean. However, the fuel stations on the highways are always next to a mosque, and you can count on a mosque having an ablution room and WC. So that should make you sleep easier at night. I've got a note here, border crossings. The protocol and the order in which you do things changes season by season. And when we did the recce, we were in a UAE registered car, so we weren't getting involved with carnets, this sort of thing, or the insurance for each country. The best thing really is whoever is there first, hopefully one of our team vehicles, They make a summary of the procedure that's got to be followed and pass it on down the line. They're normally fairly quick, but there can be frustrations. And then the final entry into the UAE, the Dubai border out of Oman, you must have 200 local dirhams cash with you, because they don't take cards, and there isn't an ATM. And I'm still owed about 4.5 million from last year, but 23. Moving on, we covered open cars. The problem with the
sorry, John. Sorry, can I just give a bit of color to a lot of our friends online who haven't done kind of these events with cars, classic cars, and all the rest of it. So one of the things that was important was to get the quality of the copies of the documents of your cars, because you have to just to help you share what you will go through and what we've been through before. Now, of course, you know, American LaFrance, Bentleys, we know what these cars are. But now, as the world gets more automated, they go down on a scroll down of available marks, and your car make model is not available on the system. They then obviously speak Arabic more than they speak English or French or Italian or Spanish or whatever. And it takes them more time to figure out, you know, your Chevrolet Fanjo, your whatever car it is, okay? So that means that sometimes what we expect to be a 2-minute procedure end up being a bit longer. And we have to be patient, not only because the patience is virtue of the strong, but because obviously we also want to be ambassadors to how we deal with these things, and we want to be polite and show how well-behaved we are. Now, the experiences, as John said, may have changed over the last 2-3 years, but in 2023, and here Jorge will laugh as well, it was, you go to the border and they give you a little slip. The slip will be the size of a business card and very thin and very faint ink, and it's green. And that is the piece of paper that you then need to give to go to another building where they take the green and they give you the same piece of paper, but it's now blue. So get somebody else to do that, okay? Then you take the blue one and you go into another kiosk and they give you a red one. And then you got to go to a third one and give the blue and the new one and so whatever. So that's just the way it is. Don't get frustrated, because some people will have been told to go to one building before they do the other. Everybody that meets in the middle, then there you get these drama sessions whereby they told me that building, but is it this building? Just be what do you call it? Relax. We have our fixers. We have our fixers on either side of the borders who help kind of move this process along and try to clarify when the clerk also does not expect to see, 85 people, 15 Hiluxes speaking foreign language, looking very different to what they usually expect. So if we put ourselves in their shoes, we're just as daunting to them as they are to us. I'm just sharing some of the wonderful aspects of what it is to travel around the world, because we go through practices and procedures which are very different to mindful and enjoy the difference. But any piece of paper is worth a lot. Last little bit of trivia that you will laugh. So anyway, crossing, I can't remember whether it was Oman into UAE, but anyway, it was one of the border. Anyway, and it took a few hours to get through. And what was it? Yeah, somebody kept one of these pieces of papers where there was a number which they had to give back to the cashier to get back 5 dirham. 5 dirham is simply, I don't know, 5 cents, 10 pence. I mean, nothing, not even a coin. And the guy said, whatever, keep it. I mean, it's just 5 cents. Got to the exit, and then they said, no. We have to give you back the 5 pence, because otherwise it's embezzlement. And so the guy had to go all the way back and do another 45-minute procedure. So You know, and of course they laughed and all the rest of it, but you know, but just that's what it is. And it's no different in South America. It's no different in India. You know, we're the ones who are different in the Western world. So, but be mindful of these things. That's it. Sorry, John, carry on.
Yeah, that reminds me to tell you, crossing borders is stressful because you're dealing with authorities and no one's 100% clear of the routine. Get your papers, your documents in order before you arrive at the border. And then during all the proceedings, guard them with your life and keep them in a sort of neat, clipped together format so that you don't lose the little slip of paper. And also scribbled on the little piece of paper is usually a number 2, which means you have 2 passengers in the car. If someone is missing at the time the officer fills in that piece of paper and he writes 1, and 2 of you turn up at the final check to get released from the border, they won't let you out. So, yeah, the scribbled 2 has significance. I don't know about the coloured slips. Maybe that's for foreigners, but mine were all white. Anyway, moving on. The temperatures that Thomas was referring to, there's a big difference between the ambient temperature, which is what a thermometer would read, and when the sun is beating down on you. When the sun beats down on you, it can feel like 35. So in an open top car, the air is cool, but the radiated heat from the sun pumps it up. And as Thomas said, by the time you realize you're dehydrated, it's too late. So everybody needs to be getting up in the middle of the night if they're doing it correctly. Sand goggles. These are nothing special. You don't have to go to the Geographic Society to get them. They are purely protective eyewear that you can get in your hardware store. But if you do get stuck changing a puncture and there's a wind blowing sand, you'll thank me for the advice. Hotels. Ellie said, don't use the laundry, don't use the minibar, and settle any charges you may have made to your room the night before the start each day. And check that you've got both passports with you every morning. Final tap as you drive out of the hotel. The other thing I say, may sound silly, but don't use the hotel safe in your room unless you put your car keys in there. The amount of times we've had people putting passports and wallets into safes and driving off the next day, it's a nightmare. So if you do want to use the safe, put your car keys in it and you can't leave without. The golden rule, if you're in any doubt, ask. Simple, but I've covered the daily briefing and the Sportity coverage. Crime is negligible, but don't tempt fate. Drones and walkie-talkies, don't even dream about bringing them. There are very few. No, there are no roadside cafes where you can call in for a coffee. So if you can bring a little flask each and fill it at breakfast when you steal your boiled eggs, which are very good, good sustenance for lunch. I might recommend bringing a little thing of salt and pepper, makes them go down easier. There are a lot of very good supermarkets with unbelievable varieties of crisps and chips and what have you. No official lunch halts whatsoever in Saudi, which means we don't have a time control midday, which also means that the timing is very relaxed. So those in the slower cars should never, ever have a problem about getting into the final control of the day in time. If you're not 100% sure about the timing, come and ask me or Chris in Jeddah. It's fairly simple, fairly simple. Ellie touched on behavior and tolerance. Don't make any hand gestures involving fingers or raise your voices. It's a fast track to the airport via the government hotel. They're very sensitive to that, and they don't like people shouting at them. If you start shouting, you've lost the battle. Dress code, Ellie's covered. Ellie's covered the fixers. The fixers are generally there to assist as much as they can and find a rear axle for a 1907 La France or whatever. And no stealing from museums, Thomas, please.
Sorry,
Although
this
it is
was a
noted that you
distributor.
returned. You returned
Which
the
I
goods.
returned,
So
yes. It was a bit like it was like the Thomas Crown affair, but it wasn't a Monet, but it was a distributor. But that's a conversation for the bar,
Yeah.
gentlemen. Freddie, just before we go on to the Q&A, because you'll all have it, I just wanted to make sure that everybody, so that John, you'd said everything, and then I wanted to make sure that Martin Tinsley from Tysers had an opportunity to introduce himself. Obviously, if there are any questions on insurance or any to-dos for people who still need to provide whatever information. So, John, how are you getting on? Any?
No, that's about it. We have, for those who did 23, we found some amazing off-road sections. Don't worry, there's no impossible soft sand. Yeah, there are patches of 100, 200 meters, but common sense and a calm approach and a bit of momentum will get everybody through those. So don't worry on that. Yeah, that's me, unless there's any questions.
That's what you told Sebastian Loeb 2 years ago when he got stuck on the Dakar. Okay, thank you. Martin, do you want to say a few words before we go to Q&A, or do you rather wait for Q&As if they involve insurance? You've got to unmute yourself. Oh, sorry, we got to unmute you.
No, you should unmute.
No, you should be able to unmute yourself. Try. Right now, Martin?
Yep,
Yep.
that's better. Yep. Yeah, I haven't been to the office for best part of a week for different reasons, but my understanding is that quotes for third-party insurance have either gone out or they're on their way. Someone has experienced a problem with the Saudi arrangements. You may have noticed that we've got no control over that. The cover has to be arranged through what's called the Manifith program. And quite simply, it's an online portal whereby you complete details of your vehicle, and your details get put into the national database. And this allows you through the port at Jeddah. So unfortunately, we don't have control over that. I have reached out to the people who told us this just to see if they can give us any help in case anyone else experiences problems. And if we do get any help or a contact that we can give you, we will obviously pass that on. But otherwise, what we've arranged from a third-party perspective is for the UAE and Oman. And as I say, you should either have those quotes or you'll have them within the next 48 hours, I would think. So that's the situation with the third-party insurance. I think everyone else has had their quotations for loss, damage, cargo, all that sort of thing long since. I think there's possibly one person we haven't heard from at all. But yeah, I just encourage you to reach out to me or my team, motorrallies@tysers.com, and we'll support you in whichever way we can. There is the question of travel insurance. Situation there is that we need a minimum number of participants to be able to arrange a group policy. So if we know that we've got requests, a certain number of requests, then we can put something in place for you. But it may be that some of you have made your own arrangements already. So I'm open to questions where I can help you at this point. So please let me know.
Yeah. So on the group policy, what we're going to do is with Martin, we're working towards seeing whether we can be the whether we can take up the policies and then on your behalf as well, and you reimburse us, or whether you go directly. So hopefully by the end of this week, you'll get a call to action. And what I recommend, just because it's easier, this will include, repatriation, medevac, and these kind of clauses. If for whatever reason you need to fly back early, you don't want to be negotiating at the last minute and whatsoever. So we have to prepare for the worst, and obviously work towards always having the best outcome. But these are false economies, if I can say. And obviously I'm working personally with Martin to make sure that is the cheapest cover for you, that is fit for purpose. So that will be there shortly. So we'll be sending out an email, and hopefully the pickup will be enough to force the insurer to appreciate the economies of scale and reduce the cost per person. Yeah. So should we open up to thank you, Martin. Should to questions. So will there be water along the way? And this was from Gert, I think it was. Was it Gert? Freddie, Giver. Yes. So Freddie, will there be water? So assume that there won't be, because Europe, you don't have cafes as such. So it's always good, and this is what Eleonora was saying, to make sure you stock up either in the morning or in the evening, but you have 2 days worth of water. So assume about you should be drinking, depending what car you're in, but I mean, you should be drinking 2 liters at least a day. And if you're an open top car, that would be everything from 3 to 4 liters a day by experience. And you've got to force yourself to do so. So if it's not to talk about me, but just as experience, I bring 2 2-liter thermoses that I fill up in the evening with cool water. Then I leave them in the car the night before. It's one less thing to think about. And then in the morning, I pick up the first bottle of water or 2 that is usually provided at breakfast, where we can. That's actually an Eleonora question, but usually that's what we do. And then I've got my daily water, and I've got my backups in my thermoses, which are they need to be reachable in the car. A lot of people, they have the thermoses, they fill them up, they pack them up, close the car, and then they're driving along, and it's such a nuisance to get to the water, they end up not drinking. And you go back to the whole dehydration. So if there is, Freddie, good, but assume that they're not. Equally, when it comes to oil, okay, for your cars. Now, remember, some people want mineral oil, some people want oil is oil, okay? So don't expect that you'll find necessarily your particular oil, but it's rather to have some oil than the wrong oil, so to speak. So my suggestion there again is, if you see oil available and you think you're going to need it, stock up. Just think ahead. And if you prepare for the worst, you're not going to, as Murphy tells us, you're not going to endure it. Other questions?
Any other ones?
Yeah. Will you be provided? What about will you be provided?
Yeah, that one, and then we need to go back to John. John,
Yep.
for 200 dinar cash, was it on the UAE border or? which border?
It's UAE border exiting Oman on day 18.
Okay.
Yes, David. We need to allow you to unmute. Yeah, ask to mute. Up there, David.
Quality of the water, is it, do we have to be concerned about like Mexican water type situation, or is the quality's good for drinking?
There's no Mexican water there.
Yeah, so I don't recall anybody having any dietary issues in 2023. And the hotels that were going, you look, the Middle East is a bit different to other countries in the sense that it's kind of binary. The hotels are either good or there are no hotels, or we're certainly not going in there. So these comes with obviously, you know, I don't recall brushing my teeth with bottled water, but if you have any doubts, that's always a safe haven. You shouldn't have problems, but yeah, John, hang on.
Yeah, I drink tap water everywhere. The only thing I would say is be very careful with salads and what you might call street food.
Yeah, because that is hi Masood. That's you know, they clean that kind of water with other water, and that's what's contaminated. So generally, either cooked food or rewash your food, or fruit with peel with you know, that you can peel. That's just general recommendations. Hang on, I saw somebody up there. Florin, did you put up your hand? Somebody put up their hand? No. Or is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. No, Gary Williams. Gary, hang on a minute. Yep.
No issues on the border with left and right-hand drive cars?
No, so we never really had an issue in 2023, but just if you want to throw me under the bus, I'm happy to stand up again. But so in 2023, we had a slightly longer. Alfonso, I'll get back to you in a second. We had a delay on the border, so. In Saudi Arabia, right-hand drive cars are not allowed, but we have a dispensation because obviously we are invited by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia to come and do what we want to do, and so on and so forth. So in the translation in 2023 of the authorization was done in English, it was approved in English and then translated into Arabic for the purpose of the border crossing. And we found out that when you translate RHD, that stands for right-hand drive, it translates into the equivalent of RHD in Arabic, but that's not a acronym that the border control guy felt comfortable with. And so he had to wait for his boss to give approval. Of course, it was Ramadan. Of course, it was Friday. Of course, he was on holiday with the family. And of course, we had to wake up in the middle of the night to confirm that he was okay with the right-hand drive, which actually happened. So hopefully, John, we've learned from that lesson, and we have created the nomenclature for right-hand drive even in Saudi Arabia. To Alfonso, great to have you here. Are they allowed discreetly? In the sense that they won't create a fuss necessarily, like they certainly did with women who weren't wearing headscarves or T-shirts. But if you can just get longer trousers, you might, you know, it's always avoiding that one odd person who does make it more kind of difficult. But again, in 2023, we had no issues. Ned, we'll get back to you in a second. To give you an idea, Ben, who's on the call, and I, coming out of Riyadh, and I think it was towards Taif, we missed the junction that takes us away from entering Mecca, which is the highway that non-Muslims are told to take, because obviously Mecca being a holy city, you have to be Muslim. And so you can imagine two guys dressed like Indiana Jones in a 1914 American LaFrance who've missed the exit and are now queuing with everybody looking at us, clearly not looking like Lawrence of Arabia. Anyway, all we got were smiles from the police, from the other people who clearly saw that we were lost. They didn't take it in any, ill way, even though technically we are not allowed to go there. So Saudi Arabia is very much changing in that way. So just to Alfonso, I don't think you'll have any issues, but if you can avoid, lead us not into temptation is all I can say. But I don't think you'll have an issue. And then Ned and Kat, ask to unmute.
Hi guys. Just a question back to the water. Are you providing the bottled water nights and mornings that we can stock up on? And I'm assuming, if not, that there are markets where we can buy bottled water.
Yeah, usually we find them in the hotel. So you go to the to the hotel and you'll have them there and there as part of the evening. So I can't remember what we did in 2023. I mean, sometimes
Fuel stations will have.
Okay, so fuel stations will have water, but you just don't have necessarily coffee shops as we have in
that's okay.
in the Western world. Yeah, I can't remember it being an issue, and if it is an issue,
but we will procure our daily allotment ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
That's what
I was bringing my flask into the dinner evening and using the pitcher on the table, for example. If you don't, if you didn't get it at the fuel station, generally there wasn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look, just to share, John and the team will have done all of the recce. If there are areas where it gets really, really difficult, they will have noted that down. And in that particular day, there may be the provision of water in the morning just to make sure, because we know that you're not going to get it. So we kind of try to think ahead of some of the issues. Most of them we've already catered for in an event where, so we have one long day, which is, I think it's a 900-kilometer day where we cross actually the largest oil reserves on Earth. And that's when we get into I think Oman or UAE before Oman. Fascinating drive. On a day like that, obviously we might help in you getting your water, for example. But you'll be told the night before. What was the question on alcohol?
Can we buy it in the hotels?
John's going to ask.
Yeah. On water, listen, it's really not an issue, but I think you'll find that most of our red trucks will carry what you might call emergency water. So if you have got caught out or had to use it in your radiator, don't despair.
Yeah. And in terms of alcohol, so Saudi Arabia is opening up to this, but they're not quite there yet. So it'll be, for most people, zero beer or rose wine and all the other things. Funnily enough, you won't miss it that much. And then keep the story. Anyway, and then as soon as you get to Oman, then it's hotels. Look, generally speaking, in Saudi as well, they don't really like you loitering around with beers outside in the car park as well. So if you do have, even if it's a zero alcohol beer, they like you to drink your soft drinks inside an area. They don't like, just generally eating outside is not something that they necessarily. But Oman and UAE, not a problem. But Saudi is still that way.
I think Jazz got a question.
Thomas, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear, Joao.
How are you guys? A quick question. Would cell phones work during the period we are driving?
Yeah.
Most of the time, yes. Oh, sorry, John. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have in the cars the cell phone plug, so we can use in case something happens or we need to make a call.
So look, you'll have. I mean, this is the eSIM point. So eSIMs will be connected with one provider. So you'll have your eSIM for Vodafone, your eSIM for whatever carrier you have, depending on what country. But coverage across the Middle East, to be perfectly honest, is actually better than in the UK. There are more black spots in the UK than there are in the Middle East. So you might have half an hour in which you're particular, but when you get to the next kind of tower, it'll pick up again.
Okay, thank you. And as you said before, we carry our own bags on the boot of the cars, correct?
Yes, there is no luggage van. This is not even a fashion show. I think we all have a tendency of bringing way too much stuff. Look, most people on long distance events will bring, light clothing that is fast dry, quick clean, that you can just rinse in the shower and it dries very quickly. If you bring 5 shirts, five of everything, you're gonna more enough time to go through them and rewash what you wear rather than so definitely for those who are using this as a shakedown for P2P, it's recommended. And then you bring a pair of jeans or whatever for the evening just to get out of your rally clothes and a t-shirt or whatever. But and then the only formal kind of things or more upbeat things you want is just for the evening at the end of the rally and on the QE2. But yes, you bring your things in the car.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so yes, Masood, good to see you again. Where are you? Unmute, Ham. Have to unmute. There you go.
Just 2 quick ones. Apologies for not saying good night, goodbye to you on Friday. I ran out. And I have a very quick question to Eleonora. Eleonora, you said that we needed potentially need a visa to go into UAE. Did I hear that correctly?
Hang on, Ele, hang on.
Yeah, I can answer. You get a visa on arrival.
Yeah, on UAE, you will get the visa on arrival. So as we're driving in, you will need to fill in some paperwork to apply for your visa.
But before, great. But otherwise, get a visa for Saudi and Oman. Yes.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
I think you'll find Oman is pretty relaxed as well. It's virtually on arrival now.
Yeah, and a lot of nationalities have 14 days free in Oman, visa free in Oman. So
free visa.
How dressy do we need to be for final evening? I mean, how dressy you need to be in the final evening?
No,
look,
very dressy.
I bring a jacket, and you don't have to wear a tie. I mean, it's not a formal thing. There's no black tie or evening attire kind of thing. But if you can put in a jacket somewhere, and it won't be unwelcome. But it's not a fashion show. Yeah, will you be providing bottle dressy?
That's it.
Okay,
Done.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, in 2023, this was a groundbreaking event. I mean, it was a groundbreaking event. The countries that we visited in the region were so upbeat, they asked us to please organize it again, which is obviously why we did. Obviously, there are concerns, or there were concerns in the area. Of course, Saudi Arabia is way far away from the Yemeni border. We don't really go close to that particular area. If you see from the geopolitics, of course, Saudi, UAE, and Oman are as close as the Western world as can be. So there's none of that. We found it just so wonderful to see the humanity and the kindness that we were treated with, even when we broke down with Ben in the La France. Out of nowhere, people would come out and wanted to give you water because they understand the importance of hydration themselves. So they may be out there with their sheep and goats, and they will always help you. They're always the first ones to feed you or try to and enjoy this wonderful part of the world. not very many people have seen before it changes for good. I think you guys are pioneers, and it'll be an honor for us to be all together, and great friendships will be forged, no doubt. Any questions on, once you've started playing with your Garmins, go through, don't get too frustrated. If you do, we're always one buzz away. If it's not Chris and James, myself, or John, we try to make it as user-friendly as possible whilst maintaining it authentic, so that you have the right to say that you made the extra effort to make it enjoyable. Because it's how much you put in is how much you're going to get out of it, is all I can say. Generally, all other participants, Jorge is, he won the last Badawï. He had a bit of a difficult run on P2P this year with his son, but a great effort. He's got a ton of experience. Xavier de Sarro, who's also on here, he did the Badawï in 2023, and he's coming back for more with his son, who also lived there. There are many guys who've been on the event who will help any questions. There are no wrong questions, so you should feel free. To ask them all. This is just part of what we do to make it easier for you guys. Okay, that's it. So no doubt speak to you soon, and thank you very, very much, and really look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Masalam.
Salam alaikum salam.